This video will show you how to do documentation on a patient during an outpatient visit. From the physician desktop screen, you will click on that and it will take you to your desktop where your messages are. From there you will click Practice. And your list of patients for the day, we'll get back to a day where there's some patients here. Your list of patients for the day will show up. You find your patient that you're ready to document on, highlight your patient, and click Documentation, Document. It will give you an option of a default template, which is linked to the reason for visit, or an all template, an all bubble that will show you all of the templates. From this category, you can choose which template you would like to use. We can choose an abdominal pain template and click OK, and the template for this documentation will load. There are different components in your template. As you can see across the top, there are bubbles that will show you each section that you need to work with. The intake section and the PFSH section will be completed by your clinical staff when they're rooming the patient. It will show chief complaint. If there's any additional complaints, they can enter them in a text box. Their allergies will show here. The vitals can be entered here. By clicking on Edit, you can add vitals in the section. You can see by just typing in the numbers, you can add your vitals. When you click Next, it takes you down to the next field. If you do have a height and a weight in on your vitals section, it will automatically calculate a BSA and a BMI. You can continue through your fields on your vitals section to enter your vitals, skipping any that you don't need or entering any vitals that you have for the patient. There is an option to choose position. If you were doing blood pressure, if you were doing orthostatics, you can tell whether they were lying, sitting, standing. Any comments that you might need to add, you can put in. For a child, you can put the head circumference. If you did want to have more than one set of vitals, if you wanted to show a blood pressure in a right arm versus a left arm, you would click Add Set. You can go to the vitals that you would need, click on your vitals. You can document location. When you have your sets in, you'll see at the top it shows you set 2 of 2. You can save. And when it takes you back to the intake tab, it will show you the vitals that you have taken. It will show you the different sets. In this section, there is also a pain scale with a pain rating if you're calculating that. You can review your medications here. This is where your nurse or your clinical support staff will enter or edit any medications during the intake. You can click on the medications button and add any medication that the patient might need to be on. Choose your dosage. If they select that medication, they can enter the route, the frequency, your nursing staff will report this as a reported medication. When you need to order it through the pharmacy, it will become active. There are alerts set up for certain medications to show you any pertinent lab tests when they were done or any results that might be associated with that particular medication. In this instance, it's lisinopril, and it's showing you BMP results. This is also giving us an alert that there is a duplicate order, that lisinopril is already ordered on this patient. At this point, you can override, you can cancel, or you can replace. It will save the medication into your new orders, and you click Save. Once that's done for any medications that the nurse needs to enter, it will take them back to their intake screen. At the bottom of the screen, there is a section for providers to click on that they've reviewed the section for that tab, as well as on the PFSH tab. If we move to PFSH, you can see it does go through medical history, through any system related issues. There is also social history, family history at the bottom. For all of these, the nurse will put the initial information in, and it can be reviewed and updated with each visit. If you click on reports for a specific medication, or I'm sorry, for a specific problem, it will show that with a circle around it. Anything that's denied by the patient will have a red slash through it. If all of these listed are denied, you can click on denied, and it will deny everything in that category. If you've had something that was clicked as reported before, you need to click on it again to remove that if something were to change. And then if you click denied, it will deny that as well. This functionality works throughout this whole tab for the PFSH. Again, there's a section at the bottom for the provider to review it. The other tabs on the documentation are your HPI tab. This would be based on the type of template that you have. In this template, we have chosen abdominal pain, so you're having an abdominal HPI. It will have pertinent questions that the physician or provider will go through and fill out. Again, reports and denies works in the same way. There's a review of systems. Again, with all your systems, the yes/no buttons will operate in the same way. If you click on no, it will say no for all of them. If there's anything that is pertinent, you can click on it and it will add that as a pertinent issue. I will caution you though, from a coding standpoint, if you go through and click the no's on these, this is basically saying that you have asked and addressed every one of these issues. And if that's not the case, you should not do that because it will inflate your coding. The next tab is your exam tab. Again, this is based on your template that is chosen. So this will be an exam based on someone with abdominal pain. It does go through your systems, constitutional, skin, HENT, all the way down. You do not have to answer all of these questions. You can document on what's pertinent. There's positives and negatives here, again, that will function in the same way as on the other tabs. You can click in the areas that you want to answer. So you would be able to document any pertinent information going through the exam, clicking on any areas that you needed to answer, and if there was anything that was not pertinent, you would not need to answer it. The next tab is your plan tab. This is where it will show any diagnosis codes that you have entered from any ordering or any prescriptions or orders that have been added up to this point. If you wanted to have additional information either through the Dragon voice recognition or by typing, you would click on your text boxes and you can type in any information that you would need on your plan. You can ask them to come back in 2 weeks for a follow-up. There is also a text box at the bottom where there is some canned text built and a potential to build. If you click on your text box, you may find something that's already pre-populated that you might want to put into your plan. We can click on counseled meds, click OK, and we can see that the information that was pre-populated is counseled on medication risks, benefits, warning, and proper use. We can save that into the plan section and that will flow through onto your document. When you're going to save your document, if you are done totally, when you click the Save button, you will have the option to sign that documentation at that time. Once it's signed, anything that you would need to add would need to be done under an addendum. If you're not totally complete, you can save your document in a draft status. This will allow you to go back in and add additional information either later in the day or when you have time to complete that document. Hopefully it will be soon. At this point, we'll save it in a draft status.